Barcelona is back and looking for rivals in Europe and around the world. What started as a rebuilding project is now a fully operational machine. Hansi Flick's Barca has a clear identity, a lethal combination of German tactical precision and La Masia's footballing essence, discipline, high pressing and verticality, while keeping the Barca DNA intact. A winner as a coach and the greatest football academy in the world. This Barca isn't just filled with stars, it's an academy of prodigies ready to dominate world football. Lamine Yamal, Xavi, Balde, Dani Olmo, Cubarsí, Casado, all forged in the most prestigious football school, now forming the backbone of a team that fears no one. Is this the year Barcelona returns to the top of world football? Can this team win absolutely everything this season? After the match against Atletico Madrid in the Copa del Rey, there are both good and bad signs. We will break down the first leg game against Atletico, so stay with us. Let's get into it. Xavi Hernandez had everything to succeed. His arrival on the FC Barcelona bench was accompanied by enormous ambition. To rebuild a winning team, restore the club's playing identity, and compete at the highest level. To achieve this, the club made a big bet and assembled a squad that, on paper, had everything to usher in a new era. They secured the signing of Robert Lewandowski, a world-class striker and proven goal machine who had dominated Europe with Bayern Munich. And he was about to begin a new chapter at Barca. Rafinha, one of the most sought-after talents in the Premier League, was brought in to add unpredictability and power to the attack. Jules Koundé arrived as a versatile defender, capable of reinforcing a backline that already boasted Ronald Araujo, transformed into a wall, and Ferran Torres, a winger with significant growth potential, who was starting his first full season with the club. But it wasn't just about signings. Xavi also bet on youth in his second season at the Blaugrana bench, promoting youngsters who quickly proved to be sensational. Lamine Yamal, Pau Cubarsí and Fermin Lopez burst onto the first team, leaving everyone in awe and showing that Barca's future was in very good hands. However, the dream soon turned into a problem. Xavi couldn't handle the pressure that comes with coaching Barca. The dressing room slipped from his grasp, and despite having a squad full of talent, combining experience and youth, the team never found a clear direction. The results were inconsistent, doubts grew, and tactical errors began to take their toll.
Sí, lo echó el juez rumano, pero a ver, no sé si se le está escapando un poquito de las manos esto de Xavi.
Barcelona went from being a team of high expectations to one that was overwhelmed in key moments. Defeats in Europe exposed their shortcomings, the lack of a solid plan, and a dressing room management that failed to convince. What promised to be a team capable of dominating both Spanish and European football ended up becoming an enigma.
Muy bien, no es una situación privilegiada económicamente, sobre todo de fair play. Es una situación difícil, donde hay que ajustarse, ya lo dije, pero a partir de aquí, pues evidentemente la afición agradecerle. He notado el cariño, me voy querido, me voy realmente con una estima tremenda de la afición desde el primer día al último, y esto pues me llena de orgullo, ¿no? Porque soy culé de toda la vida y pienso que la gente pues al final ha valorado el trabajo y seguramente con el tiempo se valorará más.
Yes, Xavi did a good job as Barca's coach, given the context in which the club found itself, a situation where poor financial and sporting management had cornered Barca on every front. However, since Hansi Flick's arrival, it's hard not to think that Xavi Hernandez was doing something wrong.
No tenim el Barça del 2010, no el tenim. No el tenim, això sí que els hi he dit. O sigui, l'any passat el que ens va donar els títols va ser un equip amb ànima, un equip que corria com animals i que guanyava els duels i que anava a la pressió alta i que recuperava pilotes i que era agressiu i que, clar, si això ho mostres a la segona part, doncs guanyes el partit.
Perhaps he didn't fully convey his vision and made too many excuses about injuries and transfers. But the reality is that he had a team capable of competing for everything. And we can say that because, well, this year's Barca is practically the same as last season's. In other words, by November 2024, the Barca under Flick's command was a completely different entity, especially thanks to the following key factors. The keys to the complete transformation of Flick's Barca based on the November numbers are as follows. 1. Exceptional goal-scoring ability. Barcelona has become the most lethal team in Europe's top leagues, leading La Liga with a goal conversion rate of 44.94%, surpassing giants like Liverpool, Bayern, PSG and Napoli. The main architect of this offensive power was Robert Lewandowski, who at that time was exceeding all expectations with 14 goals from 25 shots on target. An impressive 56% conversion rate, a figure unmatched by any other top-flight player. Although teams like Bayern lead the league in average goals per match with 3.3 goals per game, Barcelona demonstrated impressive consistency by amassing 40 goals in 13 match days, averaging 3.1 goals per game, bringing them close to the top in offensive production. Second, machine for creating dangerous chances. Hansi Flick's Barcelona has transformed into a true powerhouse in generating danger in the opponent's box, recording an average of 15.62 shots per match. Although Bayern and PSG post slightly higher figures, 18 and 17.73 shots respectively, the difference lies in the Blaugrana's superior effectiveness. Barcelona's ability to create and transform chances is no accident. It's a hallmark of Flick's style, a quality he already demonstrated during his time at Bayern Munich. His team not only dominates in offensive volume, but also in decisiveness. 9 out of the 14 wins in the first 17 matches of the season have been by a margin of 3 or more goals, a clear display of Barca's might. The result? A crushing Barcelona capable of subduing its opponents with overwhelming superiority. Third key, more verticality in positioning. FC Barcelona has built its identity around possession and ball control for decades, but with Hansi Flick at the helm, that philosophy has evolved. Now the team maintains possession with a much more vertical, direct and aggressive approach. The numbers back this up. Barca averaged 513.31 successful passes per game, with 55.46 of those directed into the final third. Only PSG and Bayern exceeded them in this area. This demonstrates a shift in mindset. It's no longer just about keeping the ball, but using it with offensive intent and speed. Another key factor is the pressing after losing the ball. When Barca loses possession, they don't just sit back, they recover it in advanced areas up to 5 times per match, showcasing the intensity and aggressiveness of a team that aims to dominate every encounter. The result is a dynamic and lethal Barcelona that combines its legacy of intricate passing with a style focused on inflicting damage quickly. Flick's Barca doesn't just aim to play well, it aims to win with authority. As I mentioned, all the figures above are from November 2024, just before the performance dip that Barca experienced in December. However, at the beginning of 2025, Flick's squad has been regaining its form and is once again scoring heavily and crushing its opponents. We saw this in the Spanish Super Cup, in both the semi-finals and the final. We also witnessed it against Betis and Valencia in the Copa del Rey, where they scored 5 goals in each match. The dominant Blaugrana that started the season is back. Let's not forget to mention the contributions of the new signings, Dani Olmo and Szczęsny. The Spanish midfielder, also a product of La Masia, has proven to be a key piece in Hansi Flick's system from day one. He is a highly mobile attacking midfielder, capable of playing as a central midfielder, winger, or even a false 9. In Flick's system, his versatility makes him ideal for multiple roles. Attacking midfielder. He can act as the link between midfield and attack, complementing Pedri, Frenkie de Jong, or Marc Casado. Free winger. His dribbling and ability to combine allow him to operate on the flanks, especially on the left, where he can work in tandem with Balde, false 9 or attacking midfielder. In situations where a more mobile attack is needed, Olmo can adopt a more advanced role, ultimately contributing with both goals and assists. These elements have helped shape a Barca that is not only exciting to watch, but also one that commands respect on the field. Despite his injuries, Olmo has consistently contributed creativity and verticality at Barca. He possesses the ability to speed up the game and thread through balls to create dangerous opportunities. With his goal from a second line run, he helped mend an aspect Barca had been missing for years. Although he has missed a significant number of matches due to injuries, so far he has tallied 7 goals and 3 assists with Barca. These numbers may not be eye-popping, but what Dani Olmo brings on the pitch is crucial. For instance, in the match against Las Palmas, he came on as a substitute and revolutionised the game's tempo, even breaking the deadlock.
Here's Lamine Yamal. Into Olmo. Olmo! Olmo off the crossbar into the back of the net, the Barcelona breakthrough.
On the other hand, the signing of Szczęsny was perhaps very controversial. It was clear that after Ter Stegen's injury, Barca needed a reliable goalkeeper. Although Iñaki Peña gradually improved and in his recent starts performed exceptionally well, we must accept that since the Polish goalkeeper became the starter, Barca has not lost a single match. Szczęsny's start was very questionable, following his errors in the Champions League against Benfica.
Ya salió el arquero, error en el fondo, puede venir el segundo, error en el fondo, garrafal.
And also after his sending off against Real Madrid in the Super Cup final.
Mbappe, is he taken down by Szczęsny? Has another twist.
But after those mistakes, and with Hansi Flick consistently reaffirming his trust in the Polish keeper,
we are on professional football, so it's our business, and I know that it's not easy for Iñaki in this situation. This is football, and it's all about performance.
The German coach's judgment proved correct. In 11 matches in which Szczęsny has played, Barca have kept 6 clean sheets and have not lost a single game. It may be painful to see Iñaki Peña, a homegrown talent from La Masia, who is growing as a goalkeeper and gaining confidence with every match, now almost erased from the starting lineup. In the end, Hansi Flick is making the decisions he believes are best for the team. Barca under Flick is built on homegrown talent, a solid foundation that will be crucial for the club's sporting project. With Lamine Yamal, Pau Cubarsí, Fermín López, Alejandro Balde, Marc Casado, and Dani Olmo, the team is set for the long haul. Thanks to this emphasis on the academy, Barca has returned to its strongest philosophy ever. During the Bartomeu era, the club stopped prioritising its youth academy as a vital component, which left them without the necessary players for a smooth generational transition after the departures of Xavi, Iniesta, Pedro, Puyol, and with Messi, Piqué, Jordi Alba and Sergio Busquets aging. Without homegrown players to drive this change, the team was left with no viable options. Unable to sign and lacking top-flight players who are truly part of the club, Hansi Flick has also implemented this philosophy by gradually giving minutes to young academy players so they can build confidence. Players like Gerard Martin, Hector Fort and Tony Fernandez have already seen game time, and it's essential that Flick continues to trust them to gain valuable experience. Moreover, the German coach has incredibly boosted the performance of other key players responsible for this season's positive results. Players such as Rafinha, Lewandowski, Pedri, Íñigo Martínez and Jules Koundé have made an exponential leap from one season to the next. Speaking of Pedri this season, the Canary under Hansi Flick, we are witnessing one of his best versions. Barcelona has a beacon that guides the team's play. Now, Pedri is not only responsible for setting the pace, but also consistently appears at crucial moments to make a difference. In the 2024 to 2025 season so far, he has accumulated 4 goals and 6 assists, his best figures since joining the club. And best of all, he's only missed 1 match this season with Barca. The problem? Diarrhea. It may sound odd to celebrate that, but after entire seasons in which at least half the matches were missed, having Pedri in full form has been a tremendous asset for Hansi Flick. Jules Koundé is another clear example of how Hansi Flick's system has greatly benefited him. Since his arrival in 2022, Koundé had shown solid performance, albeit with some ups and downs due to the lack of a defined role. However, under Flick, the Frenchman has found his best version, recording the best numbers of his tenure at the club: 4 goals and 7 assists, an unprecedented offensive impact for a Barca defender in recent years. A change in his role has been key to his evolution. Flick adjusted his positioning, granting him greater offensive freedom and allowing him to exploit his best qualities. Koundé now frequently makes forward runs, adding an extra option on attack.
Koundé levanta la cara, puede sacar el centro, pelota que pica. Goal!
His ability to distribute the ball has been crucial in building play from the back, and he has also improved his finishing ability. The new system at Barcelona requires both fullbacks and centre-backs to actively participate in constructing the play, and Koundé has taken full advantage of that. His physical presence and technical quality have enabled him to become a constant threat in the final third, providing a depth that the team lacked in previous seasons. Moreover, his defensive capabilities remain intact. He maintains a 54% success rate in duels in La Liga and averages 3 ball recoveries per match, demonstrating that his offensive evolution has not compromised his defensive security. Since 2021, Joan Laporta tried to convince the German coach to join Barca's bench, but at that time, Flick had his sights set on the German national team. However, fate eventually brought them together. Now, with the former Bayern Munich coach in charge, Barca has found the structure, intensity, and winning mentality it desperately needed. Today, the German has given the team a new face. One of the first things Flick implemented upon his arrival was discipline and tactical rigour, something the club had lost in recent years. Under his guidance, there's no room for relaxation or complacency. There are clear rules and a winning mentality. If the players don't meet these two basic requirements, there are consequences. This was evident on 2 occasions when Jules Koundé was dropped from the lineup at the last minute for arriving late to the pre-match talks.
Hay 2 o 3 reuniones con los jugadores y es muy importante que los jugadores estén en las reuniones y en los encuentros.
Furthermore, Flick instills confidence in the players who need it. Take Rafinha, for example. Many thought he was only half committed to Barca, but with Flick's help, the Brazilian is now showing his best form. The same goes for Lewandowski, who is delivering numbers worthy of his best seasons at Bayern Munich. And not to mention Lamine Yamal, who under Flick's system is unlocking almost all of his potential at just 17 years old. Flick's training methodology and physical preparation have been fundamental in finally ending the injury plague that had plagued the team for 3 seasons. He has put players like Alejandro Balde and Xavi, the latter coming off injury, into the best possible physical condition. Although Xavi might not yet be at his peak, we see him on the pitch performing with great composure and consistency. Another example is Pedri, who, as I mentioned, has only missed 1 match due to gastroenteritis, and now has the consistency he needed in his career. Flick has also gradually addressed major issues such as with Ansu Fati, who unfortunately now seems unlikely to ever reach his best form again, as Flick has kept him out of the first team call-ups. Then there's Vitor Roque, who failed to impress the German coach and was almost an automatic rejection from day one. Thanks to all these factors, the focus has shifted to working with players who have a stronger mentality, especially Rafinha, who is on fire. He has already registered 24 goals and 16 assists this season, posting Ballon d'Or worthy numbers both in terms of scoring and overall impact on the team. Lewandowski is revitalised as well, with 32 goals and 3 assists this season, representing one of his best versions yet. Although many matches still lie ahead, his age has become a constant factor. He no longer has the same endurance to press and sustain his performance throughout every game. This is where Varane comes in, serving as an excellent substitute to give the Polish striker some much-needed rest. The Shark has already contributed 11 goals and 3 assists in matches where he typically comes off the bench. The final player who has truly exploded this season is Lamine Yamal. At just 17, he is playing a pivotal role in the first team, a milestone never before seen. At his age, he has managed to accumulate 11 goals and 16 assists this season, making him one of the main pillars in Flick's project. And he's not even at his physical peak yet. It almost seems like he's been playing at the elite level for a decade. That is to say, Hansi Flick has had an immediate impact on the team. He has successfully integrated new signings and revived players like Frenkie de Jong, who is now closer than ever to his best version. Most importantly, he has earned the trust of the dressing room. His teammates believe in him both as a leader and as a person, and this has been a key factor in the great chemistry we've seen on the field with Barca. The players have responded to Flick's style. His work ethic and high-performance standards have been vital in overcoming crucial matches. For instance, in the 2 Clásicos of the season so far, where Barca scored 9 goals in 2 matches against the Merengues, they staged a comeback against Benfica in the Champions League in a way that hadn't been seen for a long time, and they also defeated Bayern Munich in the league. In short, the team now possesses a winning, resilient, and combative mentality that was sorely needed. And although they continue to struggle in some matches that shouldn't be problematic, like the recent victory against Las Palmas, it's important to note that the players take these games very seriously, and they are racking up very important wins if they want to maintain their lead in the league. That is to say, despite the drop in morale and form in December, Barcelona has managed to recover an 8-point deficit in just a few weeks. And they've done it in the best way possible, by demolishing their rivals. Now, leading the league, tied on points with Real Madrid, but sitting first thanks to goal difference, this Barca's key to success is maintaining consistency, perhaps the only area where they've struggled this season. In the Champions League, they've also kept up their level, securing second place in their group and setting up a clash against Benfica in the round of 16. All this effort has paid off, and even Barcelona's path in the Champions League knockout stage looks more favourable than that of Liverpool or Real Madrid. The 4-4 draw against Atletico Madrid left Hansi Flick's Barca in shock. The game started with Barcelona looking sluggish, allowing Julian Alvarez to open the scoring from a set piece, and then Griezmann took advantage of Szczęsny to make it 0-2. Things were looking very bad. 10 minutes in, and Barca was already trailing by 2 goals. But this is precisely when Flick's strategy proved to be truly terrifying. It was incredible to witness how Barcelona turned the match around, playing total football, high pressing, precise passing, a devastating Lamine Yamal, and Pau Cubarsí channeling his inner Gerard Piqué, Barca delivered a masterclass and completely dominated Atletico. However, Simeone's team is also one of the toughest in Europe, and they fought back until the final minutes. With Barca's energy fading, Atletico found a way to equalise dramatically. Marcos Llorente and Sørloth struck late to make it 4-4 in an absolute Copa del Rey epic. Now let's dive into the tactical breakdown of this insane match. Barcelona's defensive lapses were the reason behind Atletico de Madrid's first 2 goals. Simeone's team started with surprising aggression, constantly launching counter-attacks that put Barca under pressure. In just a few minutes, Atletico had already secured a significant lead, with Julian Alvarez scoring in the first minute and Antoine Griezmann adding a second in the 6th. The Camp Nou fell silent. But this is where we need to talk about how, when Barca stays focused and shakes off its mistakes, they become unstoppable. After conceding 2 goals, Barca's attacking line, with Ferran Torres, Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, and Dani Olmo, started exploiting the spaces between Atletico's centre-backs and full-backs. Forming the attacking quadrants we've discussed in previous videos, they constantly made off-the-ball movements and swapped positions to disorganise Atletico's defence, while Jules Koundé and Alejandro Balde stretched the pitch to provide width and depth. And this is where we need to analyse Barca's first goal. Watch how Ferran Torres occupies both centre-backs, while Pedri is slightly out of the play, not posing an immediate threat. But then, Koundé and Lamine Yamal perfectly attack the available spaces. Koundé makes a run behind the fullback and midfielder, and Lamine delivers an exquisite outside foot pass, giving Koundé time and space to pick out Pedri, who finishes brilliantly for a stunning goal. From that moment on, Barca completely dominated. Their high pressing was relentless, and it paid off in a corner kick that led to Pau Cubarsí scoring his first goal in Blaugrana colours. By the way, is Pau Cubarsí the next Piqué? We'll discuss that in another video. A key player in breaking down Atletico's defensive block was Lamine Yamal. The young sensation completely destroyed Xavi Hernandez. He nutmegged him, breezed past him, and left him in pieces multiple times. And in the 73rd minute, Yamal showcased his dribbling brilliance, reaching the byline and delivering a perfect assist to Lewandowski for Barca's 4th goal. But Diego Simeone also delivered a tactical masterclass. Atletico initially lined up in a 5-4-1 defensive block, looking to absorb pressure and counter at full speed. But after Barca mounted their comeback, El Cholo had to adjust, switching to a 4-4-2 formation to push more bodies forward in transition. That shift was crucial in Atletico's comeback, as they capitalised on Barca's fatigue in the final minutes to level the game. However, one key moment completely changed the match. Pedri's substitution. The second Pedri left the pitch, Barca lost control of the tempo, struggled to dictate the pace, and Atletico capitalised to equalise the game. He took charge of organising the midfield, controlling the tempo of Barca's attacks depending on the game situation. Pedri is truly a football genius, but besides him, there were other players who had an outstanding performance despite the draw. Lamine Yamal was unstoppable, creating danger every time he had the ball. You can see his confidence growing with every match. However, there's one thing he needs to improve: his tendency to play too individually. He has immense talent and usually makes great decisions, but let's remember, he's still just a kid. He loves to dazzle and impress on the pitch. Of course, it's part of his playing style, and it's something that will naturally improve over time. In many ways, he reminds us of Neymar Jr. back in his Santos days, when he would pull off all sorts of flashy moves, only to later refine his skills to make them more effective. On the defensive end, Íñigo Martínez and Pau Cubarsí were absolutely crucial. They constantly cut off counterattacks and made key tackles at the perfect moment. Unfortunately, Atletico Madrid managed to pull off a dramatic equaliser to make it 4-4. This is where Barca needs to improve, managing leads and closing out games. We could argue that it's because they're a young team, and yes, maybe experience over the years will help them handle these situations better. But this cannot happen again.